Jay's coming, right? Oh, he's probably be late, maybe. Oops. I know, right? I was like, what the heck? The one and only the Grim Freaker. Hi. Finally. I'm doing all right. Can't complain. How about you, BJ? Oh, oh, that's a big deal. Awesome. Yeah, I am. I wish I could say I have a couple of friends that have their birthdays the same week as Comic Con. I'm more excited about their birthdays than New York Comic Con because it's like, yeah, I think I'm kind of over the con now. I think I'm over it, and it could be because I have been going to New York Comic Con since 2009 or 2010, and it seems to be the same thing over and over and over again. And now that Walking Dead has taken like this huge surge in popularity, because I remember when the first came out, and nobody was checking for that comic book. Um, Now they are it seems like every year it's themed after The Walking Dead. I'm like, guys, can we do something different this time, because it's the same thing every time. Yeah. Yeah.
Sterilized sites.
Oops, there we go. It's always interesting to see um, how all the different panels with all the new shows and everything turn out, with all the different panels and such. Um, so I always find it interesting. It's one of those things where I can maybe catch up and find that one new project or comic or maybe even TV show, you know, or a movie or something that's getting ready to come out, that kind of thing. So it's always exciting. It's exciting.
I don't know. I got let's see. There were a couple of things that really interested me.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? There was this article called "Here Are All the Black People," and the
Mm-hmm.
NYCC edition.
Uh-huh.
And basically, I think it's called Afrofuturism, something like that. But it was basically black artists that were able to get main floor booths,
Mm-hmm.
and black artists and writers so that they can, you know, get more traffic and stuff like that. And if you wanted to support people of color while they're in while they're showing you their wares,
Mm-hmm.
you could, and I thought that was really, really important, because I think that's probably the most that's really been there. Like I think it's like 11 booths or something like that,
Right.
and that was really something that I felt kind of stuck out to me, and it almost made me wish that I had saved money, because I was already like, you know, like, fuck this, I'm not gonna spend that
It's
much
like
money
wah
at
wah.
Comic-Con anymore. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, the years before I was like, yeah, I'm gonna save like $40, I'm gonna buy everything, blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't really have anything that I want from there
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And I guess maybe I'm just over it. Maybe I need to see another con or something like that. So I'm thinking, um, yeah, that's gonna be my highlight. Maybe do some interviews or something.
Yeah. That actually, I'm hoping that the both of us will actually be able to do one together if I can get, you know, the scheduling and everything done correctly. Did you see the email I sent you about that?
I saw one email
Mm-hmm.
about what was it? The Walking Dead guy?
Yeah, Chad Coleman. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
really bad with names.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, he and this other guy, they started this graphic novel slash video game slash show project that
mhm.
that apparently is called Treadwater. That, you know, the graphic novel came out earlier this year and did pretty well. And you know, so apparently it's this big ambitious project that spans, like I said before, video games, a TV show, the comic book, and a series. And it stars Chad Coleman as one of the characters in it. And you know, they're making this big push at Comic-Con to kind of get some visibility on their project and everything. And hopefully I can get the scheduling together where we can do something there. And I'm trying to figure out what format that I'm going to be able to do it in. I would kind of love to do it as a video, you know, a video interview with them.
Mhm.
Me, you, and Chad, and the creator, whose name I think is Morgan. I'll have to look up his last name, but his name is Morgan. And you know, try to see if we can at least get a video recording of the interview, because I know one of our other partners from Black Man and Robin, you know, the guy who's doing the 9-bit network with us, he's going to be there, and he might have you know, a video camera with him. So I'm trying to see whether we can work that out, so that at least we can have that. And if not, we might just have to make it audio. You know, I'll bring my voice recorder or something like that, and yeah, we'll try that out. But yeah, we'll work on that in the background and see how it goes. I mean, it looks like we're getting some serious dropsies on Twitch. And I'm having a slight issue with Skype, because for some reason we lost the video for you. And I don't even know if Jason's on. Is Jason there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're there? Okay. All right. Let me see if I can restart the Skype call real quick. All right. And let me see if I can restart the Twitch portion as well, just to see what's going on there. All right.
Do it.
Alright. Alright. We are back on the Twitch. We'll see what kind of drop frames we get on that. That thing is going bonkers.
Yeah, I don't
Network has been horrific.
I don't see us on the Twitch thing.
Yeah, let me see real quick for the call. Yeah. All right, let me try to redo the Skype thing as well. Okay. Technical difficulties. I hate it when a plan doesn't come together. Hello, hello. You guys there? Beautiful. I see you both there. I hear you both. You both can hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. And of course, Jason can't hear us now. Now we'll have to call him. Let's try a different server, maybe. And you can still hear me, right, Makita?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Still got your video. We're gonna switch to the New York server. And go.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, and you can hear me too, right, Jay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Alright, we might be back. Oh, we're dropping frames again. What the deuce? This is weird. Like, for the last week, I've had issues on Twitch. Is it back up?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason, the last week or so, I've had trouble with getting things going on the network on Twitch for some odd reason. It's just horrific. Network issues, Twitch. Anywho, like we were saying, we were discussing a little bit about what we were anticipating for Comic-Con, and kind of like you said, Makita, especially the last like 2 or 3 years, even the names that were, that they've been announcing in terms of like special guests or big guests that they're expecting at Comic-Con this year haven't really been, amazing for like years. It's kind of weird,
Yeah, it's super commercialized now. It kind of sucked all of the fun out of it for me. I mean, the Comic-Con and cosplay in general kind of just like sucked the energy out of me, because cosplay has become a commercialized industry as well.
Oh,
It's become more of a modeling industry. Everybody wants to become a big cosplay model. I mean, you've got like chicks on GoFundMe asking for donations for breast jobs, for boob jobs, so that they can be more popular cosplayers. And it's like, it was fun at first, but then now it's like you got cosplayers who are, they're tripping if they miss a con, or you get people who are basically pushing back their responsibilities to try and make more expensive looking costumes and stuff, and it gets really, really ridiculous. So I'm just like, it's a turn off now. I'm just like, what happened to when it used to be fun? What happened to when geeks got together and did this whole like anime and video game thing, and we just had fun? Now everybody just wants to outshow each other. Now everything is super commercialized. Everything costs $1 bajillion. Like, if you don't come to Comic-Con with at least like $300, you're pretty much assed out.
Yeah,
like,
you pretty much aren't going to be able to do all that.
You're not gonna. There's just so much stuff there, and then sometimes I think maybe last year, I think Marvel had a booth that was so big,
Yep.
but like almost nothing there. And I'm just
Hmm.
like, give that space to some, some
Somebody who
indie
has something.
people. Yeah, give that space to indie people. Give it a chance. That's why I feel like they should change up their spotlight. Like, it would be really nice if they had the badges
Hmm.
instead of having constantly Walking Dead. It would be like um cosplayers you don't really know,
Hmm.
like Jay Justice, or I don't know, Ruffle Butt. We'll talk about her later, but
Hmm.
or indie comics that, I don't know, that would interest people. That would be really, really cool.
Right.
But now it's just like Walking Dead, Walking Dead, Walking Dead. It's the same thing all over again. I'm spent. I'm spent. This may be the last year that I go to NYCC for a couple of years. Who knows?
Because it is definitely, I guess the trend has definitely moved from being comic book centric to being entertainment centric.
Right.
And you can definitely tell, from a lot that you see on not only just the show floor, but just just around, and like with the panels and everything that you see, that there's so much around. I mean, honestly, I think it's transitioning more so away from the comics and more so towards TV series, because that's all you see. So like I was saying, a lot of the guests or whatever that in not log nut, our dedicated follower there, was asking, what is he asking about? Rosario plus vampire? What's that about? He gonna have to explain that, bro. I don't even know. Or girl, either one. Not certain which. Not certain what you're referring to there. Rosario plus vampire.
I guess
What's
I
that?
think that's an anime that he's
Oh, for real?
I think so.
Gonna have to research that one. But yeah, from the entertainment, the spotlight guests, and a lot of the guests that I see, it looks like right now the big focus is on stars from DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Oh, he's saying anime, great anime, yeah. I see DC Legends of Tomorrow. It looks like Firefly is gonna have a showing with some of their stars. Danny Glover for some reason is gonna be there. X-Files is coming back, so stars from X-Files are going to be there. It looks like there's going to be a small showing of Game of Thrones stars that are going to be there. And also, for some reason, Dexter. There's some Dexter people that are going to be there also. So like I said, it's kind of all over the map. X-Files, Justice League, Sleepy Hollow, Game of Thrones, Firefly. Looks like a few people from Walking Dead will be there. Ash versus Evil Dead looks like they're going to have a showing. And then, of course, some of the other newer shows, or some of the newer movies, like Into the Badlands is going to make a showing, apparently. Some of the stars from the Hunger Games. Something called Rocket Jump. Don't know what that is. Also Blind Spot. And of course Robot Chicken, Comic Book Men, The Librarians. Don't know that one. There's a few stars from Gotham that'll be there as well. From Dusk Till Dawn, the series is making a showing. Goosebumps stars will be there. Some other show named Shadow Hunters. But yeah, again, it like apparently Marvel isn't making making a showing of any of their so-called upcoming shows or movies with any of the stars. Jessica Jones is about to drop. I would have figured that that cast or somebody from that cast would be there, but I don't necessarily see anything listed here that says anything to that effect. I would imagine maybe somebody from Arrow or the Flash would be there, but I don't see anything from that either. Minority Report's gonna make a showing. It looks like they're trying to highlight more of the YouTube stars as well, because there's like, you know, they're considering a lot more of the YouTube sensations and YouTubers, so they're featuring some of the YouTubers as stars and special guests, a bit more so it looks like as well. And a lot of wrestlers for some reason. I know there's typically a decent showing of wrestlers, but there's Booker T's gonna be there, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Mick Foley, Sergeant Slaughter, Hurricane Shane Helms. I mean, that's a bit more than they usually have. They usually have like 2 or 3, but it looks like a bunch are gonna be there. But you know, just like we were saying, it seems like it's I guess you could say completing its trend of going more so towards entertainment rather than, you know, comics and anime, which is kind of what really got the whole ball rolling in the first place, you know.
Yeah, I kind of miss Anime Fest. Like I wish that there was more of that, because I remember they had a separate ticket for Anime Fest.
Right, and it was like upstairs, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I started, you know, the depth of the Anime Fest kind of just like happened in front of your eyes. It got smaller and smaller, and then you started seeing less indie artists, because Anime Fest had like a lot of indie folk in there, and they would come there. They were like small people like me and you, and that would go in there and they would sell their little wear, their portraits and things like that. But
right,
now
and
it's a little bit more expensive now. I mean, last year they had some kind of like stripper pole there at NYC.
Yeah, I saw that. That bugged me out. That bugged me out.
Why is this here?
Yeah, that bugged me out. I had no clue why that was even there. I mean, you know, in some circles that wouldn't be a big deal, but at a Comic-Con it just seems so out of place.
It did. Like I would see it at like what's that Exotica. Like I used to see it at Exotica, like a porn convention or something like that. And I'm not saying that pole dancing is porn, but what I'm saying is, what the fuck does pole dancing have to do with comic books?
Yeah, comic books,
like,
and
what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, it was definitely a very odd sight walking around on the show floor, and a lot of people said the same thing when they were walking around. They were like, "Okay, what's going on? Why is this pole here?" I don't even remember seeing anybody do anything, and I'm certain they had like a show. Somebody did, you know, some kind of dance or whatever to show it off or whatever, but it just didn't make any sense as to why it was there, you know.
Yeah, I think that I'm sorry, I'm trying to like read this person's name, not Law G Nut, mentioned earlier. Yeah, sorry about that if I screwed up your name. I think what's happened is that Comic-Con basically takes anybody's money. They don't have any regulations, as long as it's not like porn, but they don't really take regulations as far as like if it's actually related to what they're trying to sell. Like, okay, you're doing entertainment, but you're doing TV entertainment. You're going to take pole dancing. Why are you taking pole dancing? You don't even have any shows that are featured there that mention pole dancing or anything like that. So where is that coming from?
Yeah,
it's really
just kind of
weird.
out there.
It's really freaking weird.
Odd. But yes, it's definitely become even more of a spectacle, and I'm certain that's not going to change considering the numbers of people that have shown up and are showing up for it. You know, it's the actual attendance has gotten to a point where it rivals and may have even surpassed last year the attendance numbers that they had at San Diego Comic-Con, which is like the granddaddy of Comic-Cons apparently. And you know, ultimately that's the one I really want to go to, you know.
Right. I want to
because
at least go there once.
I was floored when I saw they had the Star Wars panel and they had like the entire cast up there and everything, and I was like, that's what you want to see. You want to see something that's freaking comic book or geek related at your comic book thing, and that was like a big moment. And I was like, why isn't something like that here at New York Comic Con? It's like, like I was just showing before, I was looking up and down the listing of spotlight gifts and stuff, and there's nothing from any of the Marvel stuff. There's nothing from Superman and Batman. There's nothing from Suicide Squad. There's nothing from the big name movies and stuff that we know are coming between now and like the spring or whatever. That's typically what you would see at the very least, and there's nothing there. I don't see it anywhere. Up and down, it's just goose egg.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll be surprised, because I know I went last year and I got like a little bit of adrenaline like the day before, and I was how I usually do, I get jaded and shit. And I think that was the first time we met too, because you just happened to be passing by and I was like sitting on my computer or whatever, but I just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to anything. I got there last year. I was surprised with the whole like Monster Hunter setting thing that they had. Yeah, that was like a really, really big thing for me. I think that's kind of what had me hyped, because I'm like, oh shit, they got Monster Hunter. Wow, But other than that, I'm not.
Because I remember, and we kind of talked about it afterwards too, that one of the big things we both recognized when we got out there on the show floor was that it seemed, I don't want to say smaller, but it seemed emptier. Like there wasn't, a whole lot there,
Right. It's funny you say that, because I noticed that a lot of people, I guess maybe they didn't show up. I don't know. It seemed like it was spaced out more. Like it was the same space. It was crowded as fuck. But it was like people maybe bought booths and just said fuck it at the last minute.
Right, because it just seemed like there weren't as many booths there. There weren't that many people. Or, we love Fine. Every year their booth gets smaller. And, and it was like, then all of a sudden you look over on the area where they typically stash all of the comic book vendors. There were less of the comic book vendors. And then there was like a lot more room to move around. I was like, oh, wow. You go towards one end of it. And I was like, there was actually space between the wall and the last booth. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, maybe did they plan this? Or is it just less people decided to come? Like you were saying. And then all of a sudden I was like, wow, there were less video game vendors. I was thinking, okay, maybe they'll fill up some of the space with some of the video game vendors. There were less of those, so there were less video game demos to go to. I haven't quite looked at the floor plan or anything for this year's, but you would think that this would be a huge opportunity for all of these different virtual reality developers or whatever to showcase something, anything. Now that they have all the dev kits and stuff flying all over the place in the news, and they already released the pricing for PlayStation VR and all that other kind of stuff. This right here, in my eyes, is one of the last big pushes for, all that tech, that kind of thing. And I
released pricing?
Yes, they released pricing, I think, for I want to say Oculus Rift, and they released pricing for the PlayStation VR. I think it's supposed to be like $350 or something like this. It's gonna be over $300. And I can't remember what they said the Oculus Rift is gonna be, but it's mad expensive.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it will be super expensive.
Yeah.
But people will find a way to afford it. I will have to get it like 4 or 5 years later. When down to a reasonable price. Exactly.
Is
Jason here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh, he's quiet. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, he paying attention. He's soaking it all in. He all salty because he not going.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he not going. He gonna be working. Unfortunately. Yep.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, so I told him I take a whole lot of pictures of all the, scantily
gimmicks.
clad, all the scantily clad cosplayers that shouldn't be cosplayers in the first place, just for him.
Oh, yeah, that's what happens when you have the jocks take over the geek stuff.
Yeah,
That's exactly what happens. You show a little titties, show a little ass, and you become a cosplay star. That's all you need.
Yep, that's all you need. You'll get all the support, all the financial support and stalkers you need right then and there.
Exactly.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
About to get y'all need to be showing some booty too. Y'all need to so you get swag on the map. Showing little booty.
See, if either one of us had it, we probably would, but mine's like non-existent. And I don't know about Jay. We have to work this out. You got a little something?
A little something. He working with it.
So all right. So Makita, when we go this week, what we got to do? We got to find like some tights or some like yoga pants or something like that have like maybe, this got like maybe Captain America or something like that on it.
Look, I already got my custom made loincloth. So
loincloth? Word. Oh, Jay, that we getting a photographer and everything. Work it out, Thicky.
Stuff ready. I know about y'all. I'm ready.
What? We'll keep that on the docket for some other time for Geekswagg. We will definitely keep that on the schedule. Oh Lord, but yes, it's definitely going down this weekend, and like Makita said, we're hoping that it turns out to be better than it was last year. I still haven't had a chance to even look through all the panels to see if there are any panels that I'm interested in going to see yet. So, you know what I mean?
What you guys are saying doesn't sound like I'm missing much.
Not yet.
It seemed like it.
Yeah.
I saw a couple interesting things that I kind of just like flew up my mind. I was like, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess maybe just my excitement is just not there. It really isn't. I'm hoping that maybe it's just a chill time. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm over it because it's crowded now. Like how.
Oh hell yeah!
There used to be a time when there was walking room at Comic-Con, and now it's just like you're being bounced around like a pinball. People don't know how to act. People don't know how to bathe.
Oh my gosh, it's so fragrant. Yeah, girl. Oh my gosh, Saturday is gonna be rough because I've already said I'm not going Sunday. I've made that. I've already made that plan for all the rest of any Comic-Cons I go to. No Sunday.
Why? Why specifically Sunday?
Well, my thing is, originally I started saying no Sunday because they were doing the whole kids for free on Sundays deal. So anytime it's like, hey, the kids are free, what happens? The whole family comes, and then of course it's even more packed than it usually is on Saturday. And Saturday is, ridiculous anyways, right? And it's just even worse on Sundays because you get all the same people that were there on Saturday, plus all of the 3 and 4 year olds that are walking hand in hand with their mama and their daddy. So it's just I can't do that. That's because I actually did that one year. I brought my sons, all 3 of my sons with my sister one year on that day. Well, no, I actually brought them on a Saturday or something like that. And the Comic-Con before that, I brought my son and his cousin on Sunday. And that was ridiculous.
I don't know how y'all deal with that because, being that it is crowded and people not watching where I'm going. Because I know that when I go to Comic-Con, I'm 6 feet tall. I know when I go to Comic-Con, I don't be looking at my feet for little kids. And people really think that they can just let these little ass 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, they can just hold their hands and let them walk. No, people are like really for real trying to get from one place to the other, and it's so crowded that you cannot see these little kids. You got to pick up your kid and carry them so that they can make it alive to the other side.
You literally have to. Because I literally almost lost my sons like 2 or 3 times, and on Saturday, not even Sunday, but 2 or 3 times I had to tell them, look, when we're walking through this show floor, everybody hold hands so that I don't lose you. Because a couple of times, somebody looked a different way to look at something, and then they looked up and then they couldn't see me. And
Right.
it just so happens that they called out and I heard them, and they were like two or three booths down. And I was like, holy cow, I was like, why didn't you hold on to so-and-so's hand? It's bonkers.
It's hard. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really, really is. But, we're gonna see how it is. I mean, I got open last year because I discovered Artist Alley. That was like the first time I had ever gone and seen Artist Alley. So I got open. I spent like almost half the day, if not more, that Saturday down in Artist Alley, going back and forth, getting stuff made up for me, buying stuff, that kind of thing. So I'll probably spend more time there, as well as running around with my sister between all of the different comic book vendors, and then seeing what else she decides she has to get for some of her friends and co-workers and stuff that weren't able to make it. So I'm hoping more so this time is a chance for me to meet people, because I'm trying to hook up with a few different people and meet people that I've only connected through the internet or through email this year. So we'll see. I'm going to try to see if I can go to the whole Black Girl Nerds party thing on Saturday, the get-together that she's having.
I gotta make sure I reserve.
Yeah. Well, I think you did, because I looked on the invite that was on Facebook, and I think you did RSVP to that. So. Yeah, I saw it on, because it tells everybody's business on that Joker. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, Makita's going on. There you go.
Right.
So I'm hoping my sister isn't dead ass tired Saturday night, and we can actually pull it together and make a showing. We probably aren't going to stay the whole time, but we're definitely going to try to see if we can go and make a showing, so we can at least show face and see people and chill out, have some fun for a while, see how that goes.
Right.
But yeah, Comic-Con. But so yeah, you were saying before about the whole issue with what was that girl's name that was doing the apology and all that other kind of stuff? Rufflebutt.
Okay. So here's, we all black up in this podcast, and we know every year we have to deal. We know one thing we have to deal with around Halloween is motherfuckers doing blackface.
Yes.
And
every single year.
Yeah, every year. Like the moment October 1st hit, I think for the past 4 years, whenever October 1st hits, I always put up a status, hey you guys, get ready for the month of blackface, because there's always somebody doing something really inappropriate, whether they are making fun of black people, they are doing yellowface, which is making fun of Asian people, or they're making red face, and donning these sacred headdresses and playing like they're Native Americans. And it's really disgusting. But it's become more of a trend in cosplay now to do it.
Oh,
and
Lord.
It's very concerning, because people in general, even some non-black people, are like, what the fuck are you guys doing? A person's skin color is not part of part of cosplay. It's not part of your costume. Let's not forget, cosplay is short for costume play. A person's skin color is not part of a costume. You are supposed to make your costume good enough so that we are able to recognize who the hell you are. Okay, cool. So, outside from that, you already know, like, when a black person cosplays a traditionally white person, there's always going to be racists online saying, you don't look right. They'll call you, like, one of my friends dressed up as Sailor Moon, and she looked really freaking dope. And the first thing that comes out of somebody's mouth is nigga moon, instead of just being like Sailor Moon. Yeah, or they'll tell you cosplay within your race, but then you'll have white people who will defy their own line of what black people are supposed to do and what they should do, the rules they set on black people, and then put on this dark ass fucking makeup so that they can pretend to be brown people, like actual Indian people and black people, and be like, oh, it's okay. It's not freaking okay. So the past couple of days, what happened was this other chick from Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
She did this, like, it was so embarrassing. Like, I guess she thought she did a good job. She looked like she put some brown shoe polish on her face and then threw on a wig, and she said that she was supposed to be this character named Vivian or whatever. And there were like a lot of people that were like, oh, I passed right by and I thought you were Indian. And I was like, where are your glasses? Because you can clearly see the streaks on her face. Like, she's really ODing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of people that were like flipping out, like, okay, you need to like not do that. Nobody's saying that you can't cosplay the character. We're just saying don't insult us with the blackface shit. And
I think to that whole point, I think one of the issues, and this goes to just the way our country has handled racism in general. The way history is taught in school makes it so that a lot of these issues like this, a lot of the current generation of kids or whatever, they know nothing about why this is so much of an issue. Because none of this kind of stuff is taught to any degree in schools. When it comes to that whole turbulent time frame, or not turbulent time frame, but that stretch of time frame between it's hard to even say when
it's been a while.
Let's see, I'm trying to think of the dawn of freaking TV. Because you can kind of date it all the way back to the dawn of TV and motion pictures. Did we really? Goodness. Well, again, I'm recording it, so we should. That's ghetto. But you know what I mean?
The minute you said blackface, we're like, oh,
boop. Censor, boop.
Now you Negroes, you better not be talking about no blackface.
Yeah, it's one of those things where,
too many on the show already.
Since the dawn of having movies and motion pictures, most movies and shows and stuff, they would have it set up where they basically wouldn't employ black people or any minorities on any of the movies or whatever, especially if the role or something was going to be a somewhat significant role in the movie. And instead they would have a white person, which is, the term that we keep hearing that everyone doesn't really know, whitewashing, where the character would be a minority, yet they would cast it as a white person. And we kind of still see that today in some movies. But instead of trying to, blackface or, change the color tone of a person's skin in the movie, they just flat out make the person white. Right. But of course, like I was saying before, in history, what would happen is they would actually try to, if it was an Asian person, they would slant their eyes, they would put really big buck teeth, they would, do all kinds of these really, really exactly. They would do all these really, really crazy caricatures of all the different minorities. And it would be, for the most part, comedy, for comedy reasons. They would do it and they would make fun of a lot of these caricatures, or for a lot of minorities and everything. And like I said before, they don't really cover or talk about this stuff in history. So now, like you're saying, in cosplay, they're like, oh, I'm just trying to be accurate, I'm trying to represent this character as closely as I can. I don't know what they're using as justification, when they do it.
That's exactly it. That's exactly the excuse that you're using. But talking on the point that you said that they're not really taught, yes, I agree with you, and then I don't agree with you, because we live in the age of information. You understand what I'm saying? So It's like, if you have thousands and thousands of people of color and non-black people that are on their shit, that know their history, say, hey, this is really fucked up, you should not do this, and then link you to like all these informational sites and stuff, and then you still choose to do it. Now you're being willingly ignorant. Well, you know what? Not even just willingly ignorant, not just being freaking racist, because you're just like, well, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do. I don't really care if I'm hurting you.
Because they feel like they're an artist and that they shouldn't be censored and that they are free to do what they want, whatever excuse that they're using at the time.
Exactly. I don't even think it gets that far. I think people are that stupid.
You know what? I agree with you.
I don't even think, to a degree, I think some folks, you're right, they're not educated. That's one thing, and I think a lot of it has to do with that. And I agree with both. I think half of it, even if they did know, they wouldn't care.
Right.
So I mean, and it's just not blackface. I mean, you're right. It's like it's whoever they can get their hands on.
Right. It's every minority.
It's every minority.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, I think Makita's right. You've got this wave of information out there. But here's the thing. What I've learned about folks, the more you tell them not to do something, they're never going to do until they learn. And to actually go get information, are you kidding me?
They're not going to go get it.
They're not going to do it.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the more let's call it seasoned folks that understand these things. I mean, like, I definitely know what DJ's talking about with the back in the day. Right? You wouldn't hire black actors, so what they would do is they have someone come and put the makeup on, and that would be that role.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it would be. You only got the mammies when they started seeing things that were different.
Right.
And even those roles were still, you look at them live,
suppressed.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they only allowed them to play a character that was stereotypical, or that would say some really stuff that nowadays that we'd be like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
There's a movie. Have you guys ever seen Gone with the Wind?
Yes.
It's been a long time since I watched it.
It's one of my mother's favorite movies. I like the movie too, and I watch it from time to time when it's on TV. It's a long movie, it's a 4-hour movie. But,
yeah, it sure is.
There's a scene where Scarlett, she's riding a little pony. She gets jacked by these two guys, right? And her one of her black friends comes to say to her, and he jumps on the horse. Horse make tracks. Every time I laugh because it's such a degrading line.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? And it's not even the line, it's the way he says it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hilarious when they're having these conversations. It's like the minorities are so dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
They're one step above monkey.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
yeah. You know what it reminded me of? You remember?
And these people don't understand these acts that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people that do understand, it reminds them of things like that, and that's not good. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Just not. It's just
yeah.
Just do to anybody. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And but here's the thing. So this cosplayer is from Argentina, and a lot of people, a lot of times when people from out of the United States do something like that, they make this excuse that because it's another country, they don't really know what blackface is, and that's not true. Anti-black sentiments it's global.
Yeah.
It's global, okay? And Argentina, especially, they have a sordid past with black people as the people that are there now, or the people that represent Argentina were descendants of those who tried to wipe out the African people that live there, African descendant people that live there. And they've done blackface before. They've made fun of African descendants before. So it's not like they don't know. It's just that people like to play ignorant.
Yeah.
And it's really spooky because it's you'll have the mental gymnastics that they'll do in order to justify their blackface is they'll have white people come on there and be like, well, I don't think that it's racist. I think that it's cute. But it's like, okay, but you're not blacks and you're not that person of color. So why are you in this conversation? You don't get to tell me what hurts me. Or you'll have that one black person that'll come in there that'll say, well, I'm not really offended. And they'll take that one black person and try to invalidate millions of black people because of that one black person. So they say, you guys, you monkeys need to get like this one right here because
Right. Because
he says, she says it's not offensive.
Well,
and you know what that
right.
kind of what that kind of reminded me of was the situation that we had with the Confederate flag, and all of a sudden that one guy that had the Confederate flag that was holding it in in the middle of traffic or whatever, saying that he supported the Confederate flag, all of a sudden he got like nationwide news. This one black guy holding the Confederate flag, and of course that was everybody's banner to say, see, it's for the culture, it's not for. I'm like, that dude right there does not speak for everybody. It's like that's nonsense right there.
That is like one of the major few. But getting to this person, see, now this person was so butthurt. I made a comment on there because people were like literally like, oh, well, what about black people cosplaying Harley Quinn? And I was like, Harley Quinn, a clown is not a race. Are y'all kidding? Y'all can't be serious. Y'all are reaching right now.
And Nikita, in Clown Universe, she is a race.
Clown Universe.
Right, in Dimension 14, clowns are a race.
The Bizarro World. That's what it's called.
Got vacation there.
It's Bizarro World. That's what it is.
Right. And then they'll bring out Robert Downey Jr. with Tropic Thunder. And I'm like, people, you do realize that is a satirical role where Robert Downey Jr. did blackface to represent how Hollywood, instead of actually hiring a black person, they would rather hire a white person in a black person's role.
And he wasn't playing a black person, he was playing a white guy playing a black guy.
Exactly. Right. And
there's a difference.
All throughout the movie, they were calling him out. So this is how I know that nobody who brings that up actually watched the movie
and understood what it meant when they put it in the movie in the first place.
Exactly.
They probably watch it. I don't think they understand. I think half the things you're talking about is a lack of knowledge. And me, sometimes when I see those things, I don't get it. Like I don't know, Beach, remember like maybe a couple months ago we were in the office and we were talking with Stacey, and she was upset because they had a picture of this out front of the store. It was a Korean store. It had a picture of a guy that looked like Obama, and he was talking about come on in to get some fried chicken, right?
Wow.
So she got mad, and I laughed at the
at the picture.
I thought it was funny, and she got pissed at us because she's like, well, why aren't you guys offended? And I'm like, listen, I understand like some of the meanings behind some of this stuff, and I get it. And the reason why I laugh is I'm not laughing because it's not offensive. I laugh because of the ignorance of people.
Yeah, the audacity of them to actually do it is just amazing.
Right, and what I try to do is not to let it get too much. I try to I'll fight the right ones, but some of the little subtle ones like that, I'll let go by because it's not worth your time. Because you know what, I have more intelligence in my brain now. And
it's basically gotten to the point where sometimes you have to be aware that some of that is done as some of those people that are doing it are trolls anyway. They're looking for the attention, and they're doing it on purpose because they like being racially insensitive, because they're trying to incite that emotion from you to try to draw that out.
Draw you out.
And people are doing it more so nowadays than they have in a while, because they feel like all the attention that a lot of movements and a lot of the racially intense protests and stuff that have been going on, and I'm sure you've seen it, Makita. A lot of I don't necessarily want to just say white people, because I know there are some other races that have said the same thing, where they felt like they are tired of the dialogue because it's in the news all the time, and they're like, oh my gosh, why can't we stop talking about this? We see it in the news all the exactly. And not only that it keeps happening, but they don't think of it, or they don't see it as an issue in their community, because they feel like they're in an area that is beyond that point, and they don't feel like racism is as prevalent as it truly is in our country. And I think that's why they try to avoid it so much, because they're in denial of the fact that a lot of this, it happens all the time, and a lot of times it happens and people don't even recognize that they're doing it, which is the problem.
Right.
because
That is.
right, and I agree. I think some of it's become mainstream,
Right.
and but here's the thing too. It's kind of twofold because like people go around, like you'll have white folks say, hey, you're calling each other the N word, and I can't say it, and it's it's true because it is offensive, but here the flip side is we shouldn't be using it anyway. You know what I mean?
And why do they? And my thing is, why do they want to use it?
Exactly.
That's my big thing. I'm like, why do you want to use it? That it doesn't make us feel any better that we use it. You know what I mean?
The thing. It's divided because I think you have intelligent folks that don't use it, right? And then you have people that just it's like them. It's become part of their vocabulary. It's like them swearing. You have some people that every other word out of their mouth is F this, F that. You're like, damn, yo, man, why you cursing so much? Like, drop a bomb here every once in a while, but like, not every third word is that. And I think that's what happens. They get used to that, and then people that are around that, they get that, and they think it's okay, and then the next thing you know, boom.
They using it too.
They use it too, and then
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just I'm not saying that's the end all be all of it, because there are people out there and what the hell they but I'm just saying, it's two sides. I think if you cut down some of that, and you use your big words. If you move it helps a little bit. It helps. Yeah. It helps get away from it because you got to do things collectively. You can't do it piece by piece. It just doesn't work, and it just takes a long time to go away.
Well, I disagree with you on that because when we weren't using it, they were always using it. So I can't really agree with that. It's kind of like people know not to call women bitches. There are so many people like I don't really use that word a lot, but if some women call each other bitch as a form of like endearment, like hey bitch,
right?
Like,
they
hey,
try to claim
blah,
it.
blah, blah. But not to call a woman that you do not know a bitch. That. Not to do that. So it's kind of like people want to use that excuse. Well, I heard you say it, so it's okay. No, it's not okay. You are not in my circle. You can't call me that. Or I call myself fat all the time. But if you call me Fat Jay, I mean, like, we're cool and all, but we're not cool enough for you to be calling me fatty. So it's like,
no, I totally get it, but I'm gonna quote something from the all-powerful Dave Chappelle. He did this comedy skit about women and having their chest out, right? And he goes, I can't comment on those because they're gonna get offended that their chest out, right? And he said because I'm dressed that way doesn't mean I must not anything like that. And he's like, yes, you're absolutely right. But he goes, imagine me, Dave Chappelle, dressed up as a cop, and you rolled up on me and said, hey, officer, help me. There's somebody over here that needs help. And you're like, well, just because I'm dressed like a cop doesn't mean I'm a cop. What I'm saying is, yes, you're totally right. That's not, just because, people amongst the race use a derogatory name to address each other, it should be the end all be all. And I completely agree. What I'm saying is, don't add fuel to the fire. It's a contributing factor, and it makes things worse. So, if you and your girlfriends call each other names like that and you keep it in private, I think that's cool. But the minute other people start hearing it, you're right. It gives them the wrong idea because they don't know where you stand on that, and it just opens it up to a whole nother level. I just I think if you're like. If you're a recovering alcoholic, don't go to the bar. You know what I mean? It just opens up. It's just what I'm saying. It helps open up another avenue. And by all means, it shouldn't. Just because you and your friends do that to each other, you're right. A third party shouldn't come out and say that to you. They should have the common sense. What I'm telling you is, people don't have the common sense. They don't have the level of intelligence to understand that.
And
That
and
they
kind
just
of
did it.
the
They
way
need to
the way
read it if
that
they
I
don't want to
see
lose
it.
it.
Well, the
I know,
thing
but
is
I
that
wish they would. Trust me, I've been through those situations. That's why I say
yeah.
that, because you're like, yo, why are they like this? You know,
Hmm.
and you're like, you don't get it. Are they that? And for the life of me, you want to think they have a little bit more, and you give them more credit than they do. And when you realize it, like, oh shit, they're really that stupid.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's one of those things where because I've kind of had to check myself from time to time, because I'll fly off and I'll be using the N word around my friends and stuff as well too, and sometimes I'll have to check myself because there'll be some minority friends around that'll be hearing me use it and everything, and I'm like,
they'll
oh,
never
you
hear
know
me
what?
say that. They will
Just
never
mainly
ever hear me
because
say.
yeah, just mainly because, and I think a part of that problem is the more and more they hear us use it and trivialize it, and especially if it's in a joking manner, then they feel as if, oh, they're using it all the time, they're laughing as they're using it, so in their eyes they see it as, oh, they aren't as hurt because they're using it to call each other this derogatory name now. So it's not, they don't particularly care if it's used. So why, if they're using it to call each other that, why can't they?
But I think
And
that's childish and that's babying
of
them. I'm not here
course,
to coddle anybody.
that's
I know not to
exactly what
call.
it is. You're
If your
absolutely right.
wife
You're
calls
absolutely
you,
right.
let's
It's
say your wife
childish,
calls
but
you Bunny Boo Boo, but I don't
everybody
call
can't
you
call you
Bunny
Bunny
Boo
Boo Boo.
Boo, and
But
you just
yes,
because I'm hearing your
but
wife
one of
say
the
it. Well, your
things,
wife says it, so
yes,
It's okay,
and
girl. You can call me
I'm
Buddy Boo
telling
Boo
you, there's so
anytime you
many,
want
and
to.
Makita, I'm certain you could probably have like a dictionary size book worth of instances where there have been other things where you have recognized that actual adults are doing things that are just so childish. I mean, you can look at the political race and watch a political debate and see how childish political debates are.
Yes, yes. Oh
It
my.
has nothing to, you know what I'm talking about?
Have you
It's
ever
like,
watched those things? You laugh, yeah. You'd be
it's
like,
so
hold on,
freaking
are these kids
childish.
up here?
Yeah, exactly. It's so freaking
What
childish,
about
and
my
that's the
rights,
thing.
son? What about my rights?
There comes a point where everybody unfortunately has to recognize that just because that behavior or something like that is childish doesn't mean that they're not going to do it. They're going to see it and they're going to feel excluded, and they're going to want to feel like they're a part of the cool kids. And it doesn't matter how bad the situation or bad whatever it was, they're going to want to be included. They want to be included, and whether that's right or not, that's always going to happen for any situation.
Because in the case of using racial slurs or those things, that's not accepted, and that's why I think that's where you have the separation.
Mm.
But like when you're talking about like the local guys, the reason why they do that is because at some level people accept it and it's okay and it goes by, and they sit there and they watch it and they're like, well, this is what it's supposed to be like. Is it? No, because half of those, like, yeah, I agree. When I watch them, let me tell you, the topics come up and they completely talk about something else. I'm like, yo, I still don't know what your answer is on, I don't know, say abortion or
Right, because they're attacking each other so hard.
They're attacking each other,
yeah.
Or what you're saying on fixing the economy, or, getting some better schools and teachers and stuff like that. The questions are asked, but the answers are political. They don't know.
They dance around the issue.
Yeah, and I think when it happens on a different scale, that's when people are like, oh, hey, what did you just call me?
Right.
Right. And then that's when you gonna start saying things that you don't really want to start saying. It's gonna get a little hot.
Right.
But I know one of the things you were saying, Makita, about what was the cosplayer's name again?
Oh yeah, getting back to that. So this before I jumped into that, I just wanted to note something specific that happened on this particular cosplayer's page. Now, so I commented on there. I was like, you know what? You're really hurting people by doing this. So let me show you how sociopathic that white supremacy can be. There were a bunch of people that came into my comment, that replied to my comment that said, I need you to explain why I'm hurting you. You're not explaining why I hurt you, and how I hurt you. Now, I akin that to somebody twisting my arm, and I'm saying, you're hurting me. And they said, explain to me how I'm hurting you, or I'm not going to stop doing it.
Right.
And it's like, it should be enough that I say,
It's
you're
offensive.
hurting me, for you to stop doing that. BJ, you're hurting me. What's the first thing you do? Oh, I'm sorry. I won't do that again.
Right.
But because it was something that they clearly wanted to run over you and do, and they wanted to dismiss your feelings, that's the thing that really irked me during this whole thing. It wasn't like, okay, blackface happened. Okay, cool. But when somebody's explaining it to you and they're giving you credible resources and you completely ignore it, and then I have to explain my humanity to you, then that's when it gets real. Because it's like, yo, you guys are really sociopathic. You guys are really fucking scary. That's like, this is the type of outlook. And it's not just blackface. It kind of delves into other things in society. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Definitely.
like,
so she just when you asked the question, you just pretended like you didn't know what you were talking about, kind of. Like,
it was. I give you one, you get one. That is mine, like Spider-Man. You get one. Okay. I explain to you what it is because if you know me, I'm very succinct in real life. I'm quiet. And I just say what I have to say. And if you continue, I explain it in the simplest way possible. Not because somebody is dumb, or not dumb, I shouldn't say that. Not because somebody is unintelligent or something like that. It's because it's the fastest way for the information to get around. Instead of going, through this long rant or whatever, I just say what I gotta say, and there needs to be that you just understand it, unless it's something that you do not want to understand. That's why I explain it in the simplest form. And I saw that happening in these threads. There are several threads that it happened in with even with black cosplayers, where it was like, out of nowhere, the moment a black person says that blackface and cosplay is wrong, it was like this waterfall of white people that came to say, I don't think that it's wrong. You shouldn't be talking about it. So we have this non-black person. I think I believe she's white. And she did a cosplay. It wasn't blackface, it was brownface. She was cosplaying an Indian person.
Right.
And she made her skin brown like she was Indian. And she said, at first, nobody said anything to me. I didn't know that what I was doing was wrong. And then there were people, when I got to the convention, people were like, what the fuck are you doing? This is what you're doing is not cool. And when they explained to her why it's not okay, they were like, we know who you are without that brown makeup that you're putting on, because the costume itself is very recognizable. We know who you are. There's no need for you to put on this brown makeup. And she made a post
from and add the skin tone.
I'm sorry, Jay, I couldn't hear what you said.
No, I get what you're saying. The costume was self-explanatory. Like, if I dressed up as Superman, and I said, I'm just going to add some white to me just to make sure they know who I am. I don't really do that. The costume itself knows.
Right.
It's enough.
Right. So she puts up the thing, and, she put up a post, and she said, blackface is wrong. Don't do it in cosplay. Brownface is do not cosplay somebody else's race. And all of a sudden,
and I favorited her the second because I saw all that you were talking about too, and I went on her page and everything, and the second I saw her apology and the way that she wrote it and what she put up there, I was like, kudos to you. You have a new follower. You are awesome. And I started sharing her posts and everything. I was like, that's what you do. You make a mistake, you fess up to it, you own it, and then you tell people I'm sorry and you move on. And that's what she did.
Right. I had no idea who she was. I just saw my other friend share it. I read the post, and I was like, you know what? I like you because you made a mistake. You acknowledged it. You apologized, and you never did it again. And now you're informing other people
to not do it.
What happened in the thread was she had a windfall of white people tell her that she shouldn't have to apologize for doing brownface. This is somebody who said,
that is wrong. Right.
Okay? You don't have to apologize for doing brownface. Black people, they complain about everything. You should do it again. That's what I'm talking about, the sociopathic view of it. You should do it again. you should do it again to keep them from telling you what to do. And she's like, hold up, I didn't make this status so that y'all can come on here and invalidate black and brown people's feelings. That's not what I did. I'm telling you that this is wrong. Do not do it. Okay?
Period.
Homegirl, that it was almost as if the white people on the status had this filter and they misread everything that she said and was like, well, black people complain about this, black people complain about that, and you should do this, and you should do whatever you want, and it's just a character, and you can do this and you can do that. And I'm just like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, whoa, this society is really fucked up, right? So then there were people that came on there. Of course, you know me, I came on there with my memes and stuff, and I was just like, white privilege, because y'all motherfuckers think you can just come up in a thread and in society and tell people who and how and what they should feel and how they should react to things and stuff. And of course the people that come in, oh, they're not hurt, they're not thinking, I have a black friend that isn't offended, you know, the same rhetoric. Okay, and even somebody came there and said, well, I tan for bodybuilding, and
yeah, I saw that one too. I was like,
cosplay.
What? That has nothing to do with anything.
Serious?
What are you talking about?
Crazy? Now here's the thing. Now the other cosplayer, I had to leave that thread because she was so butthurt and so blind about being ignorant that she made it so her status could not be commented on from people from the United States. That's how ignorant she became. She was like, well, I have looked over the comments, and she deleted all the comments that said that Blackface's face was wrong. Jay, are you talking? Because I can't, I can barely.
No, for some reason, every once in a while, you guys cut out.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, the girl from Argentina, she made it so that United States people from the United States couldn't comment, and then she erased all the comments that said that Blackface was wrong. Like, that was so mind-blowingly like, whoa, to me. Okay,
that's not surprising.
I think I'm gonna hear like lollipops.
Well, you know why she did that. I mean,
yeah, of course.
Anytime you got, well, no, it had less to do with she didn't want to hear it. She's got her own circle, she's got her own community of followers or whatever, and she's trying to maintain whatever opinion it is that she wants to put forth. You know, and she knows that she's gonna amongst her community or whatever, you know, just like the cosplay community, a lot of those girls or guys or whatever, when they start their whole push to do this as a career, they have to recognize that, look, you're becoming a public figure, so anything and everything that you do is going to be subject to, guess what, the public. So you're going to have both positive and negative comments on there. So when that girl saw that she was getting all those negative comments and all other kind of stuff, she decided, you know what, I'm gonna filter this out so that my community agrees with what I'm saying, so I feel justified and that I won't lose any additional followers or whatever, because that's probably what she saw. She probably saw her numbers, likes or followers or whatever dropping. Right. You know, she probably saw, so she was like, you know what, I'm going to change this up so that it's less people are saying that I'm doing something wrong, so that I can, kind of mitigate the losses or whatever it is she's trying to do. So it's not surprising, anytime you're in public face, that's what people try to do.
Right. So what happened next was something that I've heard happen on the internet, but I've never seen it until I saw this thread. There were hundreds and hundreds of white people that threatened this girl's life in a public forum.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Really?
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Because she's speaking out against Blackface. There were rape threats. I will hang you. You're a race traitor. I had never seen this before. I saw this before there was this one time this girl made a comic about white privilege, and she had to erase her account because she received so many death threats from white people.
How about Gamergate?
Talking about white.
You remember Gamergate, right?
Who?
Gamergate.
You know what? I don't
Same
think she was
situation.
a part of that. I'm not sure if she was a part of that. I'm not sure. But I know she was on
Same
Tumblr
thing.
and she had to
Like,
erase her Tumblr because she
mm-hmm,
received so many threats.
mm-hmm.
This happened in front of my eyes and I felt so bad. Like I started tearing up because that is really scary. Like you
Yeah.
stand up for something right and you have your own people telling you I will kill you and I will rape you if you speak out against blackface, if you don't erase the post.
It's the internet.
It was
Internet
so
muscles.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It was so crazy and I couldn't believe it and I was like, yo, it's really that serious for y'all to be able to
Yes.
denigrate other
It's
races.
power. It's
And
power. It's a
yeah,
power
and
struggle. It makes them feel empowered that they can. That's what me and Jay were talking about earlier. A lot of times when there's a lot of these conversations and arguments, especially when they're in these threads and, you know, all over the internet, all the trolls and everything, they get high off of being able to affect somebody else's mind state or their emotional well-being. They get off on trying to bully other people emotionally, so they feel like if they can incite that sadness or incite that feeling of, oh, I'm not worth something, they feel like it empowers them, and that's why they do it. It's, you know, it's the same, it's the same mind, I guess you could say the same psychology of a bully, or, you know, like you said, like we were talking about before, a troll or something like that. They do that, and it's probably some kid, you know, some 15-year-old or something like that, that's looking for attention or whatever, or just feels like, you know, he doesn't have power anywhere else in his life, but in this thread, you know, he feels like he can push her down so that he can feel like he or she is, you know, bigger than they really are. It
I think people
happens all the time.
give this. I think people give, give this persona of someone that is a 15-year-old. But I think it's that people are 15-year-olds emotionally because these
Yeah,
are grown ass people that
yeah,
have
that too.
kids and grandkids
Hmm.
that come into these threads and try to denigrate people and invalidate their feelings. I mean, this girl had already had anxiety problems and she had like health issues and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And she was like, finally, she had made another post afterwards and she was like, look, I'm not going to concede to you and your messages of hatred. And she's like, white people need to see this, other people
And
need to see
that's
this.
why I like her
Yeah,
even more when I saw that post, especially because
right,
she stood up to all those trolls, those people or whatever. And what they were trying to do, like we were saying before, they were trying to get her to get to a point where she would cancel her Twitter, cancel her Facebook, and just not do cosplay anymore simply because of those people telling her that they would kill her and all that other kind of stuff. That's what they wanted.
right.
You know,
Well,
that's what they were trying to push her to do.
she ended up deleting the post because she said she started having panic attacks because the death threats
Oh, of course.
became even more drastic.
Right. I
And
believe it.
I said, you know what? I'd rather her erase the post
Mm-hmm.
than for
Didn't
her
draw that much
mental
more attention.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mental health is more important
Yeah.
than that message at the moment. But she was like, she was like crazy scared.
Mm-hmm.
And then another black cosplayer came on in the morning time. I don't know if you know her. She's hilarious. Her name was
Mm-hmm.
Polychrome Dreams.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And she mentioned blackface, and
Mm-hmm.
okay, it was like I saw all the same people from the other
From the
threads,
other
and I'm
thread
like,
jump
okay,
in.
now I know that y'all are just online looking for black people and you love getting upset. And even one of the people said, I love to get black people upset. I love to see black people get upset about stuff like this. And
Mm-hmm.
you guys are just stupid. And I was just like, okay,
That's why
you
you
know what?
can't
I
feed
know
into
you
it.
people have some serious issues out here.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a
there's
lot of that.
sociopaths that just have nothing better to do than to feel like they have this power over your head, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't realize the hypocrisy of it because they'll tell
No, they realize it.
they'll tell black
They know it.
people to cosplay within their race, but then most of the characters that they cosplay are Japanese, and they know better. They don't, slant their eyes and put yellow on their face because they know it's fucking wrong. But when it comes to black people, they feel like they can just do whatever, and it's really scary. That's another reason why I'm kind of dismayed at the cosplay community, because now it's become how it is in real society. It's become a good old boys mentality. I will tell you what you will and
what you can and can't do.
Will not do, and I will do whatever the fuck that I want, and you will deal, no matter if it hurts your feelings or not. So it's really spooky that we have to go through this every single year, and like you said, people are getting tired of it. But I'm like, if y'all are getting tired of hearing it, then you need to spread the news to your friends to stop freaking doing it, because we're getting really sick and tired of seeing you guys doing it. We're getting sick and tired of talking about it too. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things. You gotta make it known. You gotta speak up when you see it, but it's never gonna go away. It just won't. It'll go away about as soon as racism in America will go away. It's just never going to happen. Exactly. It's never going to happen. And kind of like Jason was saying before, you have to, when we were talking about the N-word and everything, you have to take it with a grain of salt. You have to be like, look, it's wrong, and then you got to quickly move on, because the more and more you push attention on it and bring attention to it, the more and more the trolls are going to come out to try to get under your skin and push you to the point that Scuttlebutt, or what is that her name? Scuttlebutt? Yeah, Rufflebutt. I'm sorry. Get to the point where Rufflebutt was, where she actually fears for her life because of trying to, enlighten people. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's only so much you can do before those trolls come out, and then you just got to move on.
And before somebody takes what you said the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of people that use the excuse, well, if you don't talk about it, it won't happen as much. And that's not true.
No, you have to talk about it. You can't get too wrapped up in the, what is it called, the tete-a-tete. You can't get too caught up in the back and forth. You make certain that you make it known that it's not, that it's not acceptable. And then you got to keep it moving, because the tete-a-tete with people that you can tell aren't really listening, it's not worth it. The people who are genuinely trying to figure out why, and they're really trying to understand it, you can tell those people. You can tell the people who genuinely really want to know what the issue is and why this is a problem. People that are actually listening. And when you know that people are there, and you're, like you said before, you're putting actual facts in front of them and saying, this is what has happened. This is history. This is why, and they still won't see it. That's when you cut it and be like, what? It's done. There's no more that needs to be said, because we know where their head's at. And that's what I mean by, you make it known and then you leave it alone. You know what I mean? You reach who you can reach, and then you don't spend too much. You just try not to spend too much energy on the idiots that are there just to incite.
Right. They'll burn you out, and just from an argument standpoint, when you see things like that, all it does, it gets you riled up, and they're happy that you're riled
yeah,
up.
They get happy.
Yeah, and you know what? We can tell you, I be twitching like crazy.
It does. Makita is the funniest thing in the world to watch Jay's eyes twitch.
I just be sitting there just stressed out, because
Uh-huh.
I used to just let certain things, and I don't mean like these particular issues, but just issues in general.
Mhm.
They make you get like that. And then once you realize, you're like, hold up.
Is it really worth that?
Is it really worth it?
Mhm.
Am I really getting bent? I mean, I think we all have a lot of intelligence behind us to understand some of this stuff. As long as you ain't trying to get up in my grill and fight, because you know what? Half those people that say stuff like that online, they got some wacky name. You can't find them. You can't trace them. I guarantee you, they wouldn't have the balls to say that shit to your face.
Yep.
That I'm 100% sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that I know. They wouldn't say it to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they, just like we were saying before, the whole internet muscle, what's the word I'm looking for? Anonymity.
Yep, that's it.
You know, they can sit behind the screen and type all day, but they don't really
Type
have
all
to
day. I
face
could
you.
do the same thing. They have nothing, and then you have a person there that's trying to correct the situation. I mean, whether it's, I mean, just here's something that's critical to learn too when you're dealing with humans. We don't all have the same life. You know, there's some things that we just don't know about. You
Mhm.
know, and I'm like I said, I'm not justifying, because there are a lot of people like me saying there's the ones that when you start spelling out, they keep going. You know what's up? They're trying to get you. Right? Like this girl, she sounded like she didn't really know it, and when you explained it to her, she got it. She tried to retract real quick.
Right.
And you know, she may live a different life. Maybe you know, it's not as a big deal. I'm sure she's probably aware, but you know, the weight may not be on it. But that's cool that she was able to do that and get it. You know, I want to applaud people like that. And,
Right.
you know, thank you for
Mhm.
understanding me. And I think that's what everybody wants. Just that's a little bit of understanding. But you know, you're gonna have your crew. They're gonna sit back there and try to hate all day, try to get you upset. And when they've done that, they've more than done their job. But I just don't, like I said, just don't put it in my face. 'Cause
Yeah.
then I'm gonna have to start saying things that you may not like.
Mhm. But let's move on to greener pastures. I know there were a couple of other things we wanted to kind of
Season
touch
premiere
on.
of Flash and Arrow. Fantastic stuff.
Yes.
Are you two watching that show?
No,
What show?
no. I told you, Jay. I
Flash
gotta
and Arrow.
watch the
No.
old stuff first. I haven't started. I'm almost done. I told you, I'm almost done with Dexter. I'm in the 8th season, and I already promised you, once I'm done with Dexter, I'm gonna jump on Arrow because that's on Netflix, and I can power through that and get caught up.
It's just like I was watching Flash season premiere. It was so much fun. So much fun, and they're introducing multiple universes too, like in the Flash, and then they got other Flashes coming through. I was just having a great time. I was enjoying it, and I wish I talked to you guys about it. I don't even know if we are. Then Arrow came on tonight, and he was shooting up stuff. People jumping around,
Flipping
doing karate
around.
chop. People getting arrows in their asses. It was great. And you guys wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
I know. I'm sorry. I promise you. You know, I'm gonna have a crap ton of time this week. I'm gonna at least try to get started on Arrow this week, so I can hopefully get caught up pretty soon. I promise you, I'm gonna get caught up soon.
Yeah, because I think you're missing out on some good television. I'm trying to get caught up on my Empire too. I got a couple more episodes to go.
Yep.
That show is like off the hook. It's like drama to the 10th degree. I'm like, oh my god,
You said that to your mama? Oh my god! Your daddy did what? Oh snap!
Yeah, it's just off the hook. I haven't heard too much about season 2. I read it in like three episodes. Probably.
Yeah, I think the 3rd episode is it tonight? I think it's tonight. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight. So like, I'm excited to get caught up with season 2.
Caught up in current.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, and did you guys hear about the new stuff Microsoft dropping? They got a couple of, probably not important to you guys, but like to the tech geeks out there like myself, they got the new Surface Pro 4
I
coming.
saw that.
No, actually, I didn't.
And they have a Surface Book coming out to rival the MacBook.
Damn.
Really?
Yes, they do. It's a pretty slick setup. It's actually supposed to be thinner. They did something a little different. They have a nice graphic card in there. And what they did was, you know, have you guys ever seen the Surface where you can detach the keyboard from the monitor?
Yep.
What they did was they put the graphic card in the keyboard. So you attach the keyboard on when you want more graphical horsepower. And when you just want tablet, you can detach it. You know, you'll get lower
regular tablet,
like standard graphics. You know, but you won't get the high-end stuff where you can just go to tablet mode. So that's one of the little slick features with that. And what's so funny is at the office that we just bought a whole bunch of Surface Pro 3s. It'd be funny, right? So I don't know if the balls will be trading up for a 4,
Nah,
but it
nah,
looks
probably
good.
not for a while.
No, and they had some other stuff out there. They have the new Nexus with the phones
hmm
running Windows 10, which actually looks pretty good. I know I got my little contract. It's already up. I mean, they're nagging me to get a phone, but I may hold off to see what's out there because this phone is supposed to be really nice. It has an awesome screen,
hmm
and it actually works with a monitor wirelessly. So
Oh
if
wow.
your monitor supports WiDi or like Bluetooth or anything like that, you
hmm
can automatically connect to it. And they're going to sell attachments for keyboards and mouse, so you can hook it up to it. It's they said it doesn't perform as well, but if you're trying to do small things, you can run it as a Windows 10 computer. Oh, how
Wow.
about that, huh?
Hmm.
So just some cool things to look forward to. I'm sure they're going to probably cost an arm and a leg. I think the phone's probably going to run about $500 if you
Oh,
buy
of
it
course.
direct.
That's like standard for a smartphone nowadays.
Not as expensive as Apple, but they're trying to get into the business. I was just shocked that Microsoft is actually going into the hardware thing, which I was like, oh my god, if they do that, it's going to be their downfall because they're gonna put so much cash into it.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that last
That's
episode. How they just need to stick to software because they
exactly.
start getting into the hardware game and they're asking for a hurting because
Yeah, they got
hardware.
people that just makes it better, like Apple.
Yeah, there. I mean,
Yeah,
nowadays, even nowadays, people that used to be really good at doing hardware, they every once in a while they have their issues and they start slacking. You know what I mean?
right. They
Hardware
do.
is not an easy thing to do well consistently.
Right,
So
like
much is changing.
a big vendor for me used to be Dell. I used to love their stuff, but
hmm
like in the last, I'd say 5 to 6 years, I just feel like they've been trying to copy
Skimp.
everybody's. Yeah,
Yeah, they've been trying to
that's
skimp on the
yeah,
dollar and some
and
weird components here and there.
which is weird. And they used to be so solid. Like you would have a Dell machine, and even though it was dated, it would still run very well.
Yeah.
And it had like real, like easy to change component pieces. I mean, it was just so nice. But like now, I still like them, but I think they just dropped a little bit. They're not as reliable as you'd want them to be.
Right.
But IBM seemed to be trying to fill that void because they were like that before. They came out hot, and then all of a sudden they got. It's the same thing you're saying like Comic-Con. It used to be really good. Now you get all the big businesses trying to get a piece of it.
Yep.
And now it's become so mainstream, people are going to probably start shying away from it.
Yeah.
Like with anything.
Pretty much. But yes, actually, one of the other things Makita and I were talking about earlier that you didn't get a chance to sound off on, Jay. At least I don't think he was here. Was he, Makita? We were talking a bit about Rainbow Six.
Right, he wasn't here. Right.
Yeah, and because I know you played it, but I don't. Makita, you didn't get a chance to play it, did you? The Siege beta.
No, I watched somebody else do some gameplay. It looked pretty hot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I was saying that you know how to play it.
Let me tell you, girl, I almost choked myself. It's one of them games too. I wanted to like it, but the gameplay was. I get what they're trying to accomplish. It's very hard for them to do it because the mechanics of the game modes that were available, you're in close quarters. So one of the modes I was playing, you had to go in and take terrorists out, very close quarters, right? But like the AI was slow. My guy, he must have been moving less than 30 frames per second because he just didn't even look right. And I get that it was the beta and everything, but the game just didn't feel right. It felt like something I should have been playing on a PS2, and the mechanics of it was just slow. And I felt no teamwork, especially when I thought it was going to be a team-oriented game where you couldn't just run off and go do what you wanted to, but all the guys they didn't even care. They were like, peace! And they were gone. And I don't know, maybe if there's a second round of this closed beta, I'm going to keep it installed and see if there is. And, because sometimes they'll send you an email and say, hey, made some improvements, check this out, so I don't want to give up on them quite yet because it was a game that I wanted to buy because I played the single player before. And the single players are good, but it's slower. And like I was telling Bees this afternoon, it's like, when you're playing an online game, you know, people move so fast. It's not like something scripted that, you know, when you get there, they slow things down for you or they speed it up. And, you know, it's hard for you to hide behind stuff and do first person. You know, if it was like third, you can do the, you know, over the shoulder, stuff like that. You know, a little bit more tactical, but I didn't feel anything tactical about this game at all. At least not at this point.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it'll probably be around 2. I hope they, you know, buff it up a little bit, but
yeah,
I wanted to get it, but I think I'm gonna probably wait till, you know, like probably a month later when it drops on to like $30 and get
the
it on
discount
Amazon.
moment.
Yeah.
You know, well, see, you know, Jay, nowadays for games like that, you might as well just go ahead and get it on PC, because you know, on PC within like a few weeks of it coming out, it'll be like $30
Yes.
for like, you know, 2-3 weeks or something
Even,
like
even
that.
on a pre-order, they might shave $10 off of it.
Yeah, so you might as well just, you know, go ahead, break down, get it on PC, and just play it on
I might do
PC.
that. I might try that because I haven't been buying a lot of PC games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just hoping like Fallout is a strong game, which I mean, knowing Bethesda, it should be, but
yeah,
Maybe you never know.
you never know. They might ruin it for me, man. I hope.
Yeah,
So
I don't know.
I'm hoping that's a strong game, and of course, NBA is fantastic, so that's gonna keep me busy. Nikita, did you get Witcher 3 yet?
I did not get Witcher 3. I've been procrastinating because unlike you guys, I've
Do you
been
have
doing
Amazon? You got
Yeah.
Amazon? You do? Oh, girl, it's like, I think it's like what? Almost $30.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
With Prime, it might be. Yeah, if you have Prime, you might get. I think it's like 30. Every once in a while, I see that it's like 20, 29 something. Yeah, and
Wow.
it fluctuates. Actually, I even think regular price is $39 now.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah,
but
the price has definitely come down.
I haven't gotten.
Well, it does go
unlike you
cheaper.
guys, I've been I've been staying on my PC like crazy because, like, you know, Steam and their little Steam sales
Oh
and
my gosh,
you know,
yeah.
games that go from like $60 to like 10 and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, it's crazy. So it's kind of hard for me to jump
And I
over
think-
from my PC and then pay
and
like
now-
$50 for a game.
And now that you say that, I might actually have another strategy game that I got for us to check out too. They gave me a couple of review codes that you might be interested in checking out with me too. So
Okay, let me know.
bug me about that, because I will forget. I've got it stashed because I've gotten a bunch in the last like few weeks that I got to remember to play.
Yeah,
But,
I'm getting emails like crazy. Like, everybody's coming out with these games and stuff that are like
Yeah.
out of this world. I got like codes for like Soma and stuff, and it's just like, what the
I heard that
hell
was
is going
good.
on here? Yeah, I heard it was good. Oh, you know what? Before speaking of games, I am probably going to do an interview with this. Oh man, I'll give you the link later. But I think that the game is called Allison Road. It's on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And everybody's calling it the spiritual successor to PT. You know, the
Oh
kinda
yeah.
yeah, the little
the horror
game that
jump.
they played from Silent Hills.
Yep.
And it's gonna be with I think the Oculus Rift.
Oh
And
Lord.
it's
I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that.
Right. It's looking like it's gonna be crazy. I don't like horror. Well, I love horror games. I love watching other people play horror games and stuff.
Yes.
But like when it comes to that virtual reality shit, I don't know
No,
if
sir.
I can handle it.
I know I
have
can't.
like somebody there that can do CPR just in case I pass
I'm a
out.
punk. I am a punk. I will let you know right now. Nope.
You're gonna be screaming.
Yup.
Ah!
5 octaves up.
Yeah,
Bunny
you
is a
guys
punk.
definitely need to look that up. You know what? I'll give you the link. But
Allison Road. Ugh.
yeah, that's something that I'm definitely looking forward to because there's some, I don't know, like I'm a little bit I guess I'm jaded like I am with so many things. And I'm trying really hard to get back into like the gaming thing because now what I've done is I've become I've fallen more in love with indie games than mainstream games because it seems like most indie games are putting in more effort than these big name companies.
Believe that. They are. They are. I feel
They really
disappointed
want you
because,
to
like, you
buy.
know what? You pay $60 and then you get a game and it's like, hey, this game is only 4 hours long. You're like, what? And then you get like an indie game, you pay $10 and you get like a good solid 30 hours. You know?
Yeah,
You definitely can't say that about Metal Gear Solid. That's for certain.
No, but
oh,
no,
what
that's true.
happened with that?
That's true.
Nothing. Look,
It's good.
all I gotta say is I've been playing. I swear I've been playing that game for more than 50 hours, and I've gotten to a point now where it's finally opened up some of the online features of the game, and I actually understand why they set it up that way. Because this game is so freaking deep. They put a lot of purpose behind a lot of the stuff that you kind of take for granted early on in the game, because you're like building your base and getting, mercs to help you out and everything. And then once it gets to the point where you're infiltrating other people's bases and they're stealing stuff from you, then it starts making sense. You're like, yo, I need to be doing a lot of that stuff and pulling people off in the single player as well as in the other one, so that I'll have enough people to be able to defend my base from other people online.
Wow.
And on top of that, they just opened up the Metal Gear Online servers. So that game is so freaking chock packed full of content and stuff to do and stuff that, it's got its own loot system that's just crazy. You know what I mean? Instead of you collecting weapons, you're collecting personnel. You know what I mean? It's mad
And
deep.
collecting personnel is like the funniest thing in the game.
It's hilarious. Throw the little balloon on their back and just goes whoop up in the air, and it goes back to your base. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm gonna be playing it for a long time, and oddly enough, they could probably make this game not even have a storyline to it, and this would be a game that I'd spend a ton of time playing and having fun doing it. Even if it wasn't called Metal Gear, if it was just called Fallout Gear, or just freaking Fallout, or Far Cry, not Fallout, like Far Cry something, or even if it was like some generic game just called Gun. You know what I mean? This game, the basic core concept of this game is fun enough that I'm not even particularly caring about the storyline, honestly. It's really fun. I'm enjoying it a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to get. I haven't always been like a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid. Like I'll watch somebody else play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll watch somebody else play it, but it's never been something that like jumped out at me, and I was just like, yo, I need to play this game. But I saw like the hype around it. I'm listening and reading what people have to say about it, and I'm excited. So I may pick that up. Perhaps do like a let's play of it. Who knows what happens? I don't know. I think I'm just maybe just a little bit more excited. I just like the idea of, I think it wasn't you, BJ, where somebody had like injured one of the guys and then kind of like recruited them. They were just like, oh, okay, like come with me or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's hilarious, and it's, I don't know if it's. I haven't had a game in a really, really long time where I was just constantly playing it for hours. Like I played Until Dawn. I'm gonna play it one more time and then I'm taking it to GameStop because I'm so serious. Because not that it's a bad game, but you can't really
There's no replayability
out of it maybe twice.
Yeah, and then that's it.
I've already saved almost everybody in the game. I want to kind of try and see if I can save everybody, and then I'll go on about my business because that's it. But I like games that have like DLC and it'd be nice if things would unlock like old school.
Yeah, it would be nice for that to happen one day, but yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I like games like that. I haven't. The only time I really get to play games like that is when I play Final Fantasy games, because you're gonna spend hours, sometimes months, trying to figure out and unlock everything. So
find everything, stuff that's secret.
That's why I think a lot of people are starting to get pissed at these new games because they're so short. And the only ones that I noticed that I'm buying right off the bat are the RPGs. I don't even bother like the Call of Duties and stuff. I've waited on all of them because the story mode is short and everything else is online. So if that's all you want, then go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But like even NBA 2K, I mean that they have, what do they got? Like,
So much content in that thing.
It's
It's
like
crazy.
7 or 8 different modes, and they all have their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's besides even just playing the game, and it's so good. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like that. I mean, the baseball games are like that. Witcher just got like new DLC coming out next week,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm excited for. So, you know, like that game I put straight when I was playing it for like 2 months. I probably put close to 200 hours into it.
Yeah.
And
that
I started
and Dragon Age, same deal.
Dragon Age, the same thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I probably put a little bit more on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I played most of the winter. I played Dragon Age and Witcher 3. That's it. That's kind of all that's what I put a lot of my time in. I mean, like, dude, my wife go to sleep, I slap my PS4 headphones on, like, I'm out. I'm on my pony, jacking up people, taking their stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, I would spend hours just trying to find materials to deck out my armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd spend like a good 20 minutes spinning myself around looking at how shiny it is. I mean, it's such a fun game.
Yeah.
And the dialogue from the people, it's not like even Dragon Age, the dialogue is corny, you know, like, but you go with it. But like The Witcher,
Right.
the voiceovers and everything, it's
Are
like,
great.
they're so good. I mean, like,
The storyline is really great.
You really want to know what's going on. You're like, ooh, I
Mhm.
gotta get over here.
Yeah,
You
the
know, like,
storyline
even in
it does pull
Skyrim, I
you
was
along.
like,
Yeah.
I'd pass. I'm like, okay, man, shut up. Can I get to the next
Yeah.
thing?
Fast forward through, it's like bloop bloop bloop
Yeah,
bloop
because I don't
bloop.
really
Right.
care what you say. Just give me my loot at the end. Witcher 3, you actually care. I mean, like, there's this one storyline with this Baron. I mean, his
Oh my gosh,
whole-
that was really good. Yes.
it's probably one of the best ones in there. I mean,
Mhm.
like, he's just and you revisit. You
Yeah.
know? So even if you got to be careful what you tell them, or you may end off certain things, because towards the end of the game they may or may not help you,
Mhm.
or later on you may need them on a different mission. They'll be like, nah,
I remember what you did to me earlier.
Yeah.
Bump.
Remember when we was back? Yeah, I got you, son. And they did. So
Hold that.
yeah, it's definitely.
Yeah, Witcher 3. Yeah, Witcher 3 is a well-crafted game. I was amazed, and I still haven't finished it yet, but even as I played through it, I'm amazed at how I was able to get into the story without really knowing much of anything about the stories before it, or the games, the storyline of the previous games.
Yes.
You know, it didn't lose me as I was playing through it, and it made me interested in what was going to happen, and, you know, actually care about certain characters, and, you know, so that they would actually not give me the finger later on in the game. I'm like, no, I want to help you. It's like, yeah, I want to be nice to you, that kind of thing. So, you know, the writing in that game is extremely good. And, you know, of course, thankfully, it's enhanced by the really good gameplay. You know, it's got great gameplay mechanics, and it pulls you along. So like Jay said, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being Game of the Year this year as well, because it's amazing. But I will say this though, it's gonna be hard pressed going against Metal Gear, because Metal Gear is definitely
it's probably gonna be
amazing.
up there, but I still think overall, like, Metal Gear has fun little missions to do. It's a whole bunch of little fun little missions trying to pack together. And I mean, I'm not as far as you are, but, you know, I think it's going to unfold as you get further along.
Oh yeah, it will.
But what Witcher 3 like Metal Gear it's the same thing. You can grind through the game. I really don't want to hear what you're saying, so I could just hit next.
Right.
I really don't care. Witcher 3, you don't want to hit next. You want to listen. If it's a half an hour conversation, you will listen to it because you are so interested in what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the characters are so
I agree.
So like it's good. It's definitely hands down, at least for me. I would say it was definitely the best game I've played this year. And I can't wait for the additional content which is coming out. Man, let me tell you, I'm gonna have my PS on instant awake, so when that content comes out,
download it in a second.
and I have it I might even take a half day or something just to get some undisturbed time.
That's right.
That's right.
Quality time with the PS4.
Leave it.
Oh man. And I think one other one that I'm actually looking forward to that I'm hoping I'll get a chance to stream maybe tomorrow, maybe this weekend. I don't know. I probably won't be able to this weekend. But Sword Coast Legends, the beta is out for it now, and like its Dungeon Master creation module is open and stuff. So I'm gonna be jumping into that, hoping I can get some QT in before it releases on the 20th, I think. And we'll see how that goes along. D&D games have always had a hard time with the storyline, except for like maybe the first Baldur's Gate. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of like single player campaign they do with this one. But I think with Sword Coast Legends, the whole appeal of it is just going to be the community. Everybody making their own modules, making their own missions, and being able to download what other missions that other people make and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to get my hands on it, play around with it, see what kind of missions I can make up myself. So be on the lookout for that. We're almost out of time here, and I know, yes, we did get a little heavy on you guys, but hey, like Makita said, sometimes we gotta bring y'all down to earth and make y'all understand what's really real going on out here. But yes, if you guys are out there at Comic-Con, definitely keep your ears and eyes open. Makita and Bunny will be out there in the place to be, seeing what's going down. And of course, we will definitely keep you guys in the know. Be on the lookout for the articles, of course, on Zombie Gamer Online. I'm sure she's gonna be throwing all kinds of videos, all kinds of articles, interviews, yeah, all them kind of jumps all over there. I'm gonna try to do the same as well. Hopefully, like I was saying before, both Makita and I will be able to do a tag team interview of Chad Coleman and Morgan of the Treadwater game and comic book series. So definitely keep your eyes open and locked for that. Hopefully that goes down smoothly. We'll see how that goes. And Thick Nation, he's probably gonna be streaming his tail off over the weekend, probably.
Yes, I will.
Hopefully.
I'll be I think I'm gonna break down. I'm gonna do some Nathan Drake, baby.
Oh, nice.
Nathan Drake Collectione, yes.
Right.
So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for Dirty Hell Motto, this weekend as well. There's gonna be a lot going on this weekend, people. So also make certain you keep your eyes locked on. I forget what channel they're gonna, or if they'll have multiple channels, but I know that Comic-Con said that their panels are gonna be all streamed. So if there's certain panels that you guys are interested in this time, you'll actually be able to watch. I don't know if it's all of them or just some of them. So take a look. Maybe you'll see Makita and I in the crowd waving to everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, boy.
And of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for being here with us. Keep it locked here. Big things going down every week. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The crew will be here letting you guys know, helping you guys increase your geek. We love y'all. Say goodbye to the people.
Thanks, bye.
We love y'all. Thank you. And we are OUT.